For just $1, you can permanently fix yellowed, fogged up headlights. But before I tell you how, I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you took a close look at your car's headlights? Not just a passing glance, but really crouching down and looking straight at the lens. If you've been driving your car for more than 3 years, you'll likely notice one thing. Those lenses aren't transparent anymore. They're covered in a layer of yellow fog that won't wash off, with a slightly rough texture that you can't seem to wipe clean. For many, the first reaction is to go to an auto detailing shop. The mechanic does a quick polish, charges you $150 to $200, and tells you, "We applied a premium anti-UV coating. It'll last 2 to 3 years." Then, half a year later, the lights are yellow again. You go back, and they say, "That's normal. You need regular maintenance." So you keep paying. This cycle has probably happened to you more than once. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Min. Every day, I'm here exposing the everyday secrets they don't want you to know. But here's something the detailing shops won't volunteer. Your headlights aren't yellowing because you're lazy with maintenance. It's because of a cost-cutting decision the auto industry made in 1992. And car owners have been paying the price ever since. Before 1992, the vast majority of car headlights were made of glass. Glass is naturally UV resistant. Even if you drive the car to the junkyard, the lenses stay crystal clear. But later, to drive down manufacturing costs and reduce vehicle weight, automakers universally switched to polycarbonate plastic. Glass is heavier, and when broken, its shards pose a higher safety risk to pedestrians. Automakers used these 2 points as their justification. Ultimately, the primary driver was cost. Plastic is much cheaper than glass, and in mass production, it saves a significant amount of manufacturing expense per vehicle. The saved money went into the manufacturer's accounts, while the added hassle was passed on to the car owners. Plastic has a fatal weakness. It can't withstand ultraviolet rays. At the factory, manufacturers apply a thin anti-UV coating to the plastic surface, which easily holds up for 3 to 5 years. But once that coating peels off, the exposed polycarbonate undergoes photo-oxidation under the sun. The plastic develops microscopic cracks at the molecular level. Dirt gets trapped inside, and it slowly forms that yellow haze you see. This isn't just a cosmetic issue. According to tests by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, severely oxidized headlights retain only 22% of their light output. That means 78% of the light is absorbed by that oxidation layer. Consequently, your effective stopping sight distance at night is reduced by nearly 40%. 40% is not a small number. But automakers won't recall your car for this because they've outsourced the problem to another industry, a $1.5 billion aftermarket industry built entirely on headlight restoration. How does this industry work? And why has no one told you the real permanent solution? Let's break it down layer by layer. When you go to an auto shop for headlight restoration, the standard procedure looks like this. They sand it down with a few sheets of coarse to fine sandpaper, apply a layer of what they call premium anti-UV coating, charge you $150 to $300, and claim it will last 2 or 3 years. If you think that's too expensive, you might buy a DIY kit for $30 to $60, which includes some sandpaper, a bottle of polish, and a so-called sealant. Both paths lead to the same result. Consumer Reports tested mainstream headlight restoration kits long ago. Their conclusion? The vast majority of products will have your headlights fogging up and turning yellow again within 6 to 12 months. Not 2 or 3 years, 6 to 12 months. Why? The reason is simple, but no one will tell you up front. The correct logic for headlight restoration involves 2 steps. 1. Remove the aged surface layer. 2. Establish a new protective layer that can truly resist UV rays. However, most products on the market cheat on the second step. That sealant or anti-UV coating included in the kits is almost always a single component acrylic resin. This material is extremely cheap and easy to apply, but its UV resistance is highly limited. Exposed to outdoor sunlight, it begins to degrade, crack, and peel within 6 to 12 months. Once it peels, the exposed plastic starts oxidizing again, and the headlight turns yellow once more. You go buy another kit and do it all over again. If an average car owner does a headlight restoration once a year, they will easily spend over $1,000 on this over a decade. And the bulk of that $1,000 is buying a temporary fix destined to fail. That is the commercial logic of this industry. They aren't selling you a solution, they're selling you a subscription service that requires repeated renewals. Now for the scientific part, because some online claims need to be properly addressed. You might have heard of cerium oxide. There are many videos and articles online claiming that cerium oxide is an aerospace-grade polishing powder used by NASA to repair the Hubble Space Telescope's lenses, and that using it on headlights solves the root problem with results far superior to standard sanding kits. This claim is half right and half wrong. The right part, cerium oxide is indeed a standard polishing material in the precision optical industry, with a history spanning over a century. From Carl Zeiss camera lenses to submarine periscopes and the repair of the Hubble telescope, it has been used everywhere. When polishing glass, it creates more than just physical abrasion. It triggers a process called a tribochemical reaction. During friction, cerium oxide chemically bonds with the silicon dioxide on the glass surface, dissolving the aged material at the molecular level while simultaneously depositing a smoother new surface. This mechanism genuinely exists on glass. But modern car headlights aren't glass. They're polycarbonate plastic. The tribochemical reaction between cerium oxide and silicon dioxide cannot occur in the same way on polycarbonate. On a plastic surface, cerium oxide acts more like an ultrafine physical abrasive, similar to highly refined sandpaper, rather than a chemical-level repair. As a physical abrasive, its extremely fine particles do yield a much smoother surface than coarse sandpaper. However, it cannot permanently repair the oxidative damage of polycarbonate at the molecular level, as some videos suggest. If the kits on the market are a trap, and cerium oxide is only half the answer, what method actually repairs headlights properly and makes them last? Before sharing the repair steps, we need to establish a basic understanding of materials science, because it directly determines how long your repair will last. Polycarbonate's UV degradation usually occurs just a few tenths of a millimeter below the surface. This layer of aged material has undergone irreversible degradation in its chemical structure. No coating or polish can heal it. The only way is to physically grind it away to expose the healthy plastic underneath. Some online voices claim that forcibly sanding away the surface layer damages the headlight. From a material science perspective, this is unfounded. Proper sanding removes the dead, oxidized layer, revealing a healthy plastic substrate. The issue isn't whether you should sand it, but how you protect it afterward. This is exactly where most DIY kits cut costs and inevitably fail. The core of a durable restoration doesn't lie in the polish you use, but in the final protective layer. The single-component sealants in standard kits cure into a linear polymer film. Its structure is loose, allowing UV rays to easily penetrate and degrade it. What you actually need is a two-component automotive clear coat containing potent anti-UV ingredients. It consists of a base resin and a hardener. Once cured, it forms a three-dimensional cross-linked polymer network, offering UV resistance far superior to single-component products. Under normal outdoor conditions, this protection can last 3 to 5 years. This is the core secret that auto repair shops won't tell you. The 4-stage proper restoration process. Here is the correct workflow for headlight restoration. 1. Clean and protect. Thoroughly wash the headlight surface with soapy water and dry it. Then, apply painter's tape around the edges of the headlight to mask off the surrounding car paint and plastic trims. If the sandpaper or polish accidentally rubs against the adjacent paint, it will leave scratches and chemical contamination. Spending 2 minutes applying tape saves you the hassle of paint touch-ups later. 2. Sand. Progress through 3 grits of sandpaper, from coarse to fine. Start with 800 grit, move to 1500 grit, and finish with 3000 grit. The 800 grit removes the deep yellow oxidation. During this step, the headlight will look extremely rough and cloudy white. This is completely normal. The 1500 grit acts as a transition to smooth out the scratches left by the 800 grit. The 3000 grit is the refinement stage, bringing the surface to a mostly smooth finish. Use the wet sanding method throughout. Keeping the sandpaper and lens surface wet reduces heat buildup, prevents damage to the plastic substrate, and allows the sanded dust to wash away. 3. Polish. Many people see the matte surface after sanding and think they've failed, but this is exactly right. After sanding, the headlights will be matte and lack transparency. You need a polishing compound to further smooth out the micro scratches and restore the shine. A standard automotive polishing compound is sufficient. Use a microfiber cloth to apply a small amount, rubbing evenly in circular motions until the surface starts looking clear and glossy. If you have cerium oxide powder on hand, you can use it here instead. Mix 1 tablespoon of powder with 2 tablespoons of water to form a thin paste. At this stage, both serve the same function: physical abrasion. Wipe off the residue with a damp cloth and check the clarity. If there's still haze in the corners, polish them for another 2 or 3 minutes. 4. Protect. Once polishing is complete, the exposed polycarbonate must be protected immediately. The longer it sits in the sun, the faster it reoxidizes. Before spraying the 2K Clear Coat, ensure the headlight surface is completely dry and free of oil residue. Spray 2 to 3 light coats, waiting 10 to 15 minutes between each. Don't spray too thickly at once, or it will run. Afterward, let it cure naturally in a shaded area for 24 hours. Keep it out of direct sunlight and away from water. You're done. The final cost. What is the total cost of this method? 3 sheets of sandpaper, $2 to $3. Standard polishing compound, around $10. A small can of 2K Clear Coat online, about $15 to $20. Altogether, it's under $30, and it will last you 2 to 3 years before you ever have to touch it again. This isn't complicated tech, it's simply something you deserve to know.